Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Answering the Bell with Stormybman, our Sunday morning call-in show for this Sunday, April 7th, 2024. This is number 114 in the series of call-ins, and we're coming out of another weekend of banging fights. And we hope to talk about those fights a little bit and possibly talk about what's on the horizon, because boxing is truly delivering fights in abundance presently. I don't know that I can recall a moment in time where we're seeing such consistency of bouts being spread not only through the week leading up to the weekend, but all the way from like Wednesdays and sometimes Tuesdays and oftentimes Fridays and Saturdays through Sundays. So we are really receiving a lot of boxing right now. I'm not complaining in the least. The only thing that I say is I hope that it doesn't happen like all at this instance, and then we have huge gaps of time where there's nothing taking place, because that has been the case in the past. However, I have noticed a change over the past year and a half to 2 years of how the boxing game has shifted, partially due to what's happening in Saudi. Saudi is providing us with a bit of opportunity for fights that ordinarily may be a little more difficult to make, that they get done under those auspices. But I'm hoping that the sport doesn't rely heavily on that aspect. Then we have a situation that really needs to be addressed in more detail, and that's the corrupt officiating and judging of fights. If we can clean that up, we would be well on our way for this sport to become, once again, number one. There was a time when boxing was right up there as one of the number one, if not two, sports in professional sports. But my, how the mighty have fallen. And it wouldn't take much for it to spring back on its feet, because I'm going to tell you something. Rather than to watch golf or baseball, basketball, and even pigskin, you put a boxing match on a television with two prime fighters exhibiting their wares, people are going to stop and watch. People will stop and watch baseball if someone just hit a home run or a grand slam or something like that. Football is always great when they've scored a touchdown or a guy has broken free for a free run of multiple gained yards. Oh, look at him go. Soccer is just a sport that the fans really partake in and get emotionally attached, similar to the sport of boxing, but it's nothing like watching two guys bang it out. And you pick one and your buddy pick the other, and y'all be putting down wagers and like, man, my guy's gonna mess your guy up and this and that. Same as soccer, football, as it's known throughout the world. But presently we are seeing something happen. And there is something else yet and still that we're witnessing that no one's really taking strong acknowledgement of. There is a youth movement in boxing, a renaissance, so to speak. So that little era of these guys, and I call it a little era, it just, the impact has been huge, but the era has been small because it's on its way out. That thing about these guys not wanting to fight each other, that's getting ready to go by the wayside, y'all. It's almost like being able to look ahead to who's coming in the upcoming draft. Yeah. You gotta love it. See, the wheel does turn, huh? Because all these dudes laying up, man, just looking for mighty paydays, huh? Don't want to put nothing on the line. And then you have the poorest of examples set before you when undisputed champions risk everything that they presently have, their reputation, their titles, their accomplishments, and sacrifice that just for a lucrative payday, and then find themselves abdicating the throne of undisputed and allowing others to pick the belts up and go forward, ruining their own reputation, shaming themselves and their family, disgracing the sport of integrity when it comes to their name. Yeah, they're going to by the wayside. And guess what? There will be new ones to come along and replace them. Yeah. So we're witnessing all of this, man. And I just get my popcorn ready, huh? And I smile. Turn the volume down on my TV and turn my attention up on the happenings. Yeah. So welcome out there this Sunday morning, everyone. I hope that you have enjoyed the fights that we had over the past 24 hours and looking ahead to what's on the horizon. Thank you for stopping in. Don't forget to smash that like button as you come into the building. As I acknowledge who we've got so far. Ratchet since 91 was out there first saying, yo, salute Stormy in chat. What's good with you? Jimmy Bernard is back with us saying, what's good, Sensei? Salute to the chat. Smash the like button while entering the building. Mr. Shelton's out there saying, driving and listening. What's going on with you, Mr. Shelton? No Smoke TV, my man, is out there saying, Sensei, hey, No Smoke, I need to talk to you, man. We need to do some correspondence over some emails because I got a proposition for you, huh? I want to make you a part of Stormyman's team more exclusively and directly. Much respect. 704 Joe is in the building saying peace. What's good with you, 704? T-Berry is out there saying peace. Stormy B-Man in chat. Boxing and Barbecue, my brother, is out there saying morning, Stormy. What's good with you? Adewale M is out there saying salute to the great Sensei. Right back at you, brother. Jay Gibson is with us saying salute to Stormy B-Man and the fam. Yeah. So it's nice to see some of you back early with me this morning who were rocking with me late last night when we did the post-fight show. Hey, man, I hate when those cars run past 11 p.m. Central Time because that means that that's going to push my post-fight show into the wee hours of the morning. And, you know, for the brothers and sisters that are on the East Coast, man, that's, you know, you're talking 1, 2, 3 in the morning for those people, man. And I don't like that. My only complaint is that the Zone, they got a knack for starting cards late and stuff, and they had a delay on their card yesterday that lasted, I don't know how long, but those prelims were supposed to start a little earlier, and they didn't. I don't know if they had some last minute cancellations or whatever, because I was kind of listening through my earpiece while I was making some errands before being able to sit down and watch the cards. So I didn't like that at all. But I'm going to tell you something. If they could get the timing right, it'll be all right. That's the most that I can say about that. That's the most that I could say. But that pushing us into the middle of the night, man, no. That's not going to work. That's not going to do it for us. Huh? Yeah. Jay Gibson says 2 a.m. Yeah, man, that's kind of late. I realized what time I was bedding down after everything, and I was like, man, you know what? And then I was wondering, I was like, am I going to wake up in time to get the Sunday morning show going right? I had my alarm clock set and everything, even though it was going to mean that I didn't get much sleep off of everything. And I was able to wake up without the alarm clock, get myself ready for this morning. But my goodness, So yeah. But I'm going to tell you something, man. I'm loving what's happening in the sport right now. I really am. I really am loving it. So, no complaints from Stormy on that tip. No complaints. Checking something out. Family, I got a emergency situation that I need to take care of real quick. I'm going to be a couple of minutes. I'm not going to shut down the stream, but I will be a couple of minutes away from the mic. So please bear with me. Just give me a couple minutes and I'll be right back. Bear with me, family. Okay, family, I'm back. I apologize for that delay, but I had to take care of something. It could not be helped. And instead of shutting down my stream, I just wanted to handle that business right there. I appreciate everybody that hung in there for me. I don't do that very often, so it was an emergency situation. So now I posed the question I put up there: which fight did you enjoy the most last night? Jay Gibson says Sky Nicholson versus Sarah Mahfoud. Very good fight and a great opportunity to see the skill set on display for Sky, because she is a fighter that I don't think enough people are going to be paying attention to her for her abilities, but she has the ability to make almost anybody look bad. And she's a southpaw. So that's not a bad pick. Even though some of the other fights were more action-packed, but I'm not mad at that selection off of last night's card, Jay Gibson, because you're right. Sky had an excellent performance. I don't think she lost a round in that fight. And Sarah Mahfoud, who had just fought Amanda Serrano just a couple of fights ago, she was able to make Mahfoud look like amateurish in there with her. So, yeah, that's an interesting pick. He says the brothers was doing a bit of holding in the clinch last night. Yeah, both of those fights, the Pacheco versus what's his name? I can't say that guy's name very cleanly. McCalman. McCalman held a lot in his fight against Pacheco too. He was doing some weird stuff where he could have been fighting. He was doing this other stuff. And of course, Hitchens was holding Gustavo Lemos a lot and never got a warning or anything. Not that I wanted them to take a point from him or anything, but it should have been acknowledged that he was holding too much. You know what I mean? Because you're talking about, you think you're an elite level fighter. Elite level fighters don't just clinch and hold and try to kill time and try to, stifle the other guy by physically wrapping him up and wrapping him up and wrapping him up. There are other things, other tactics, other means of being able to box through those circumstances, which allow me to continue to point out that some of these guys are not complete fighters. A complete fighter will be able to weather the storm, fight on the inside, fight at mid-range, fight on the outside, step around, counter punch with proper counters, to go to the body, to be able to utilize the jab offensively, defensively, to use the jab when you need to rest. All of these kind of things mark a complete fighter. And we're not seeing that amongst a lot of these highly touted talents out there. So yeah, I have a bone to pick with certain fighters who like to run their mouth, but they can't put it out in the ring, and they think they're just holding somebody. Because you'll get one of these officials who will be like, you know what, I'm taking points. So then what do you do? There's a lot of learning to go on here in this sport. And we don't have enough teachers out there to help with the situation. We just do not. See, we got Dr. Mark in the building, PGH Big Dog in the building. What's happening with you brothers? I see you guys out there. So I'm gonna get ready to open up the lines in a moment. Just trying to get the my graphics set for it properly. Yeah. There we go. I love my waterfall backdrop. You guys like that? I like the waterfall, man, because it's calming. You know, there's a positive current flowing with that. I enjoy that a lot. So thought I put a little image up there from the card from yesterday. But yeah, man. Y'all ready to talk about this a little bit? Open these lines up. Hopefully you'll get some participation from you guys. Yeah, Jay Gibson says, when clinching, not one uppercut by Richardson. It's because he doesn't know how to fight on the inside. See, when you are preparing these young fighters for their path, putting them in there against guys that they can knock out easily and stuff like that. Yeah, I understand you want to, knockouts sell, right? So you want to put these guys in a position where he knocked out 3 in a row, 4 in a row, 5 in a row. But then comes an opportunity to advance in your career where you fight a more experienced fighter who's not just going to lay down because you hit him on the chin. A fighter who's going to hit you back. A fighter who's not going to stand in front of you, a fighter who will make you come after them and set traps for you. And then a fighter who can brutally come after you. And we kind of saw a little bit out of Lemos last night, brutally coming after Hitchens. And I'm going to tell you, with proper scoring, Hitchens could have easily lost that fight last night. With proper scoring, without someone by the name of Cheatham, huh? Yeah. Now, some people were saying like, oh, it's a robbery and this and that. No, it was a close fight. But sometimes the close fight should go to the other guy too. Yeah, right? That's checks and balances. But when you got a judge like Cheatham, it's always going to be somebody being cheated. He didn't have a close scorecard. He had a wide margin. So what fight was he watching? What fight? Because that fight was close. See, accountability in boxing, that's the one thing that we're not being given a standard bearing. It's like we need that. That's what can help the sport to thrive and survive. Because sometimes things just don't go your way or whatever. But when you have someone that is like officially making certain something goes a certain kind of way, we could do without that. We could do without it. Right, Jay Gibson. Lemos was the aggressor, and he was being held a lot. Where were the warnings? I'm not saying the ref had to take points, but he didn't even warn Hitchens for holding all that time. Sometimes Hitchens was holding just to get a breather or something like that. Sometimes he was holding because the guy just kept coming, even though he hit him with some fire. He just had to hold. Listen, sometimes you gotta, don't hold, get in there and fight. But he didn't know how to do that. And though his corner was telling him, you gotta throw more punches, there were no instructions. Note the difference, people. Note the difference. When your corner is telling you, oh, you gotta let your hands go, oh, you gotta throw more punches. But how, coach? What punches? How should I go about it? No teaching. You see what I'm saying? There's a tremendous drop-off between being an educator, and someone who is just in a position and cheerleading. No technical advisement. This is why I talk about these guys. They're horrible. I can sit up there and from home in my chair and give better advisement. I'm texting back and forth with brothers in the community, and I'm telling them, I'm like, look, this guy, all he needs to do is take his energy, because he's asserting himself a lot. And after those first 3 or 4 rounds, I was like, all he need to do to steal the fight is try to win every other round. Because Hitchens won't know the difference. He'll see the same entity coming, but he won't notice the change in the rhythm of the attack, because he can't make the adjustment to fight that off. He's trying to avoid it or smother it and slow it down, but he doesn't know how to meet it, greet it, stop it, compete with it, show layers, multiple layers of the onion. He can't do that. And his corner was of no help. Yeah, Jay Gibson, he kept being on the ropes. But the thing about being on the ropes is this. It's easy to tell a guy, stay off the ropes. But you got a guy coming at him, bearing down on him. And so he finds himself backing away, and next thing you know, he's where? Near the ropes. But why is that? Can anyone answer that question? We're going to open these phone lines up in a moment, but can anyone answer the question of why does he end up on the ropes or near the ropes over and over and over again? Can you please, someone that feels like that they can answer that question, please write it in the chat for me. Why was Hitchens near the ropes all the time? Any takers, please? Because this is a conversation. This is a teachable moment that I'm getting ready to share with you guys. "15 people, but nobody can answer that question for me." Mind of Mansa Musa, I see you out there. What's good with you? Boxing and Barbecue says he should have been on his pivot and stepping over. Listen, that's very close, Boxing and Barbecue, and I'll receive that as correct, because what he was supposed to do when Lemos gets within a certain range, this is how you know that they're not being taught in the gym properly. When he gets within a certain range, you can fire a couple of shots and turn, and the next thing you know, you're back in the center of the ring. When the guy walks you within a certain range, you can fire shots and slide over to the left or to the right and pivot and turn again. You don't even have to put your hands on the guy. But if you do put your hands on the guy, part of that whole thing of putting your hands on him is supposed to tie him up, slow that down, turn him. Turn him that he's off balance, turn him that he's off rhythm, release him so he has to reset. You've heard me say these things before. But see, I'm going to tell you what he's doing in the gym. He's boxing with people and he's fighting with them. And some of the people that he's boxing and fighting with don't present enough of a challenge that the coaches in the gym have to address it. And especially if he's beating up on sparring partners where he's looking great all the time, or looking better than his sparring partners. But I've also talked about some of these coaches and trainers not advising the sparring partners as to what they need them to do to their fighter so that the fighter can be better prepared for what he's got to face. When Evander Holyfield was training to fight Mike Tyson, they brought in fighters who could emulate the pressure of Mike Tyson and they would start the round with the guys rushing out at Evander. And Evander would have so many seconds within that ringing of the bell to halt that aggression and charge. If he didn't do it, or if he wasn't faring well, they would stop the round, start it over again. They did that for 2 to 3 weeks with him before they went to regular sparring, because he was having a hard time stopping the pressure. And it wasn't always one guy. Remember, the sparring partners come in sequence. You got one guy, he may spar you a couple of rounds, then a fresh guy comes in, then the other guy comes in. If you've got like 3 sparring partners, you might be in 10 to 12 rounds of sparring, you may face 3 different guys in rotation. A condo, LDBC or nothing is out there, says, didn't use the jab and set up punches properly and didn't use lateral movement to keep it in the center of the ring. Antoine Reed is out there saying, salute Stormy. Hendog, the fearless one, says, salute Stormy B-Man. The reason why he kept backing up is because he feared his opponent and didn't expect him to fight like that and kept backing up in a straight line. I don't think it was about he feared the guy. He didn't have the tools. Now go watch Devin Haney box. Devin Haney can dictate with ring generalship alone, but people don't like him. And we know why people don't like him. But he is one example. There are others. JDM is out there. What's good with you? Seeing some bad readings on my end for my stream. That's why I paused for a moment. But on my other devices, I didn't lose anything, so that's okay. So the phone lines are open, people. You got some things to talk about with Stormy for these fights? Let's talk about it. Also, don't forget, we got that heavyweight doubleheader card coming up next Saturday with Jared Anderson and Efe Ajagba in the co and main events. Really, they should be fighting one another after all this time, but they continuing to milk it and milk it and milk it until one of them loses, and then it's going to be like, oh, they should have made that fight. But I've talked about this. I've talked about it continuously, and it's like, hey, man, you know, I got a video coming out Monday about Anderson. Listen, it's time to peel get off the pot. It's as simple as that. Trill Will, I see you out there. Welcome. So those lines are open, man. Let's hear from somebody. Let's hear from somebody. Let's have some conversation. Man, did y'all see them interview David Benavidez last night? Now, they know that man that had a few drinks, right? And they had him on the camera looking drunk. I was like, man, come on, man. You see, that's some foolishness right there. Foolishness. Boxing and barbecue, give it another shot, bro. I just tested it. That was me testing it. The line works. Go ahead. Whichever one, you or Mr. Shelton, can try it. It should work now. Okay, we got 601 in the building. Who's calling? What's on your mind?
This is Mr. Shelton. What's going on with it, Stormy?
Hey, Mr. Shelton, how you doing this morning? Sometimes, you know what? I'm going to explain something real quick about the phone lines. I always test it before I go live. But sometimes, if you heard me say a moment ago that I had something funny going on my thing, so I probably needed to refresh it. That's why when you tried initially, it didn't work. But once I tried it myself and it went through, that usually frees it up. I think that's Boxing and Barbecue trying to call now, but he'll have to wait until we finish our call. Boxing and Barbecue, I got Mr. Shelton on right now. Just try back when we finish this call. But what's good with you, Mr. Shelton? How you doing?
I'm on this side of the dirt. I can't complain. How you doing?
Hey, man, that's the best place to be. I'm gonna tell you. No, listen, cause see, Stormy got a warped frame of humor and mind. Listen, when you underneath, listen, they plant stuff, they water it, and sometimes the water ain't the water that you really want. It's the other kind of water. When somebody say I gotta go, and then the animals drop something down there, a little love for you too, and it's like worms and all that. So listen, above ground you're doing well. Below ground, I ain't trying to receive that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I tell you, that's how my mind works, man. Some people say, damn, Stormy, I wasn't even thinking about that. Why you had to go there? I was like, you should think about that. That's why you should be, hey, it's all about survival. You understand? It's like, I ain't trying to leave. I might be trying to leave Earth, but I ain't trying to leave life and existence. No. I want to be around so long. I want to be around so long. I want my beard to grow long like them old men in them kung fu movies. And when the eyebrows turn white, you know you old when the eyebrows turn white. Shit.
Ain't you?
They be calling me Sensei Pai Mei. Shoot. Yeah, man. Did you get a chance to see those fights last night? Anything?
Yeah, I saw I think 3 of the fights.
Yeah.
So, Hitchison, he did what he had to do, but I don't think he won that fight.
Hey, you know what? There's a great argument that he didn't. And think about it like this. I mentioned it, but I'm not going to dwell on it. But there was not one single warning from the referee for all that damn holding he was doing. And
Right.
for people who so-called hate Devin Haney, weren't they just a couple of fights ago? And I'm not talking about just people in general, but even the commentators, weren't they talking about counting his clinches?
Mm-hmm. They did that with I think the second Cambosa fight.
Yeah.
Had
So
a clinch camera.
yeah, so where was that regarding Hitchens? And did they bother to mention, as some of us content creators had said leading up to the fight, all he was talking about was Devin Haney anyway, huh? Even though the fight he's fighting is for the IBF mandatory position, which means that's Subril. Rackety, huh? That means, so he wasn't even talking about Subril. He talking about Devin Haney. But he got a Argentinian in front of him. And I told Drew Titan a few days before the fight, I say, I don't know the guy, but he's from Argentina. When I said that, Drew was like, oh, shit. I said, yeah.
Yeah, them boys come to fight.
I was like, even the women from Argentina, man, they come to fight. That's why, like last night during my post-fight, and 88 Sports Talk, shout out to 88, he wrote in the chat, he was like, man, that Mexican was tough. I was like, look, let's have respect here. Okay? Yeah, he's a Latin man, but he's from Argentina, brother. He ain't no Mexican, okay? And there is a difference. If you didn't know, go back and look up Argentine fighters and then come back and let's have a conversation. Because they don't fight without laying it all out there. You understand? And that guy came out, I'm going to tell you, that's one of the best peekaboo styles in the Tyson Customado ilk that I've seen in a long time. Because that's basically what he was doing, even though he wasn't trying to be like Mike Tyson. Because he's short in stature, he's stocky, he can punch, he basically was fighting out of that style, and it was very effective. Very effective. Yeah. A lot of what Hitchens was throwing wasn't hurting him or landing cleanly. You know how they were giving Pitbull credit against Rolly? Oh, he's walking through that. Rolly couldn't miss his right hands on Pitbull. He couldn't miss.
Yeah, he hit him all night. Yeah,
but last night, Hitchens, he was landing some jabs, but some of that stuff was going off the gloves and was missing very cleanly. There were sequences where Hitchens was throwing shots and the dude was bobbing and weaving and getting under the shots and they were just missing.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see what I was seeing?
Yeah, I saw it. That's why I think that he narrowly lost that fight, but it is what it is. I wouldn't call it a robbery.
No, it wasn't a robbery, but the that one scorecard by Tim Cheatham was a disgrace. Yeah. Because he scored it as if Lemos had only won like maybe 2 rounds. Man, if you don't get all the way the hell up out of here. Because even Mike Mannix had it split after 8 rounds. And so did I. We might have not have aligned on the same rounds of who we thought won, but after 8 rounds, I had it split as well. And then I felt like Lemos won the 12th as well. Come on, man.
And then he outworked him. He had the ring generalship for the most of the fight.
He pressed the fight. And don't they often say that? The announcers, they keep saying, well, so-and-so is the aggressor. He's the aggressor. Okay, well, last night you had a guy being the aggressor and you weren't giving him his full credit for what he was accomplishing in there. And my goodness, there were a couple of times where Hitchens was holding him and looking up at the damn clock on the Jumbotron. He's like trying to kill time, man. He's like, hold round, hurry up and ring. Bell, hurry up and ring. I mean, fighters that do that, listen, bro, That's not what you don't put your hopes in fighters that's doing that kind of stuff. Because all that's telling me, and understand, I'm watching it at home on TV. If I were at the fight working one corner or the other, I could be hands-on as well and looking at these very same things, and I could tell my fighter what's going on. I could tell Lemos, hey, man, that guy's looking to kill the clock. He's looking up while he's holding and clinching you. He's looking up at the jumbotron trying to see how much time is left. Hey, this is what you do. When he go to clinch you, start digging them uppercuts to his breadbasket and solar plexus. Do that Mike Tyson combo that's a right hook to the body and bring it up as an uppercut and then follow it with a left hook. Get him off of you. You see?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But this is what I talk about how these coaches. And isn't that Joel Judah that's training Hitchens?
Is it?
Huh?
I'm not sure.
I know he's in somebody's corner last night, Joel Judah. I don't know if that was Hitchens' corner or if it was the Pacheco fight and he was in McCallman's corner. I know he was out there last night.
It might have been McCallman.
Okay. But I'm just saying, it's like you gotta know how to coach your fighter through a fight. And
and speaking on McCollum, I think his stock went up a little bit last night.
His stock went up, but I'm going to tell you something. His confidence didn't, because he didn't fight like it. He had an opportunity in front of him to take advantage of Pacheco being uncertain. See, Pacheco's uncertainty was in the fact that he was dealing with a guy with fast hands that had a longer reach, even though he was the taller guy.
Mm-hmm.
But see, what McCallman, what he was able to teach Pacheco last night was, in order to negate a guy's reach and hand speed, there are tactics and ploys that you can implement. But you have to know this. Your coach and trainer needs to know this. I used to teach this stuff in the gym. Listen, I'm going to ask you a question. What's the shortest distance between 2 points?
Straight line.
A straight line. Now, if a guy is slow, how do you beat him if he's slow with his shots, getting his shots off? How do you beat him?
Straight shots.
Not necessarily straight shots, but you beat him with timing. Okay?
Yeah.
Timing. Because if he's slow, then you can count on him to throw something, and just before he throws it, or just after he throws it, or simultaneously when he throws it, depending on what shot is being thrown, you capitalize. And if a guy is slow, you can make him become even slower, because he'll become hesitant to throw the shot, because every time he does, you making him pay in some kind of way, right? So the thought process that kicks in, they're like, oh, shoot, he getting me, so I better be careful. You've already defeated him. Now, check this out. Same type of question, but different circumstances. If a guy is fast, how do you negate his speed?
With timing.
It's easy to say that, but how is speed measured? This is why it's called the sweet science, by the way, guys. I want you guys to listen to this, because this is game. How do you judge speed?
Combination punching.
It's not about the punching, but let's just say if you got a Corvette and then the other guy got a Toyota, right? The Toyota sports car, what they used to call it, the MR4, whatever it used to call. You got a Corvette in that car, and they racing. How are you judging the speed of the cars?
What's under the hood?
No. Isn't there something that they call when you're measuring speed in racing, 0 to 100 or whatever, over how many feet, right?
I got you.
Right. So speed is measured over distance, as Jay Gibson just said in the chat. I can have a Mack truck, and you could have a Corvette. Now we take off. The Corvette gonna beat them off the line, right? Because it's phew, but that Mack truck is gonna build up force behind that speed. But by the time you get to the cutoff point, the Corvette will have crossed that line. But that Mack truck gonna come over that line with fierce power, right? And impact, because it's a big thing. So basically what I'm trying to show you here, why it's called the sweet science. Speed is measured over distance. If you cut the distance, where's the speed? Hello.
Good point. Good point.
Hello. Roy Jones Jr. got knocked out by Antonio Tarver. All people saw was the knockout. All they thought was Roy was my boy. I hated seeing that happen to him. But they left out one important fact. Tarver closed the gap. Roy was in the middle of getting ready to throw one of his famed check hooks. And Buddy McGirt, who had just told Tarver in between rounds, the round before, get lower and get in there on him. And when Roy, who is famously, known to slide back a little bit and throw that check hook, Tarver dipped and stepped in. So Roy's hook was going behind Tarver's head. Go back and look at the knockout.
Yeah.
And Tarver got all chin on that punch that he threw. And he caught Roy, who never saw the shot, which is why you get knocked out, because you don't see the shot. So he cut the distance. And even though Roy was the faster guy, Tarver's punch landed first. Because he cut the distance. Yeah, but in order to have the timing to negate the speed, you got to shorten the distance. Now, wasn't Lemos doing that to Hitchens all night long?
Yep.
Cutting the distance. Now, McCallman was doing it to Pacheco, even though he had longer arms rather. But Pacheco realized later in the fight that if he get closer to the guy and just start working the body and stuff like that, the length of his arms and the speed of his hands don't matter. Because long-arm guys don't want to be fighting you in close. You cut the distance. If you stay at mid-range or at long range, he can throw it, and you don't see it sometimes because that's where he's able to operate from at his maximum. Now, did I just teach you something, or did I just teach you something? Because like I said, if these coaches knew their jobs, they're supposed to know this.
Yeah, you're right.
But see, listen, and I don't profess to know it all. I do not. But there's a reason that it's called the sweet science. And the old trainers understood these things, which is why they would teach, throw your punches short. They would teach you, don't let your feet spread wider than your shoulder length. Because you're on balance when you keep your legs closer proximity, and you can get more torque on your shots. If you're taught how to throw short shots, then understand that being on the outside it's not hard to work your way in because you move your head, you rotate your shoulders, you shuffle your feet a little bit, you slide left, you slide right, you slide forward, and you want a guy to throw something because when he throws, as you evade that, block it, parry it, catch and shoot, you're moving forward still to get at him. But if your legs are spread apart like Van Damme, you ain't gonna get that opportunity to do that. And then you can't get out of the way if he's doing some good offensive stuff to you. You see? Mm-hmm. And it's easy to be disrupted. You didn't see Sugar Ray Robinson with his legs spread all wide apart and everything. That man would stand, his feet would be just like, you know, just even with his shoulders. Yeah, and he would throw short shots, yank, yank, yank. And then if he had to jab you, snap, 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 and he's stepping right with it or he's stepping away. It's like, it's a rhythmic thing. But what are these coaches teaching now?
Not that, obviously.
Absolutely. Listen, and I know some of you who listen to me on the regular, you hear me criticizing them. But I just broke it down in one area. That don't even cover everything. But in one area where they're failing these young fighters. They don't even know these things. That whole thing about how to cut the distance and measuring speed and all of that. I gave it to you in scientific terms to help you understand it. But when you're telling Richardson Hitchens in the corner, you got to let your hands go. You got to get busier. You got to punch more. Where's the instructions, though?
Right.
You see? And that's the thing.
He was letting his hands go. It's just he couldn't keep the dude off of him.
But see, he couldn't keep the guy off of him because he wasn't trained to fight certain kind of way. Remember, let me tell you something. If you know how to fight on the inside, that's the last place a fighter want to be with you. They don't want to be with you on the inside. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Everybody knows how George Foreman was known for knocking guys crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But George wasn't known for knocking guys crazy in close proximity. George was catching guys pretty much from mid-range. Boom, bam, boom, those big shots, right? And guys be, wobbled and everything. But he fought a fighter that was a former cruiserweight who had come up to the heavyweight division and become the world champion. And he thought because that guy had come up from cruiserweight and him being the heavyweight that he had always been noted to be with the power that he was noted to have, he thought he would knock Evander out. He had told everybody who would listen, 2 rounds. And he almost got him in 2 rounds. And that was because Evander was on the outside while George was throwing this jab and threw this lunging overhand right that missed Evander by inches in that second round. That punch missed, and George followed up with a left uppercut that hit Evander on the side of the head that really rocked Evander. And Evander later mentioned, he's like, yeah, that left hook on the side of my head immediately put a knot on my head. But yeah, I'm mentioning this because what Evander managed to do was he did his best work either from the outside when he was jabbing George and throwing his fast combinations, pop, 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 and moving around, or he got close to him. And on the inside, George could not handle Evander at all. Evander was letting loose in one of those rounds. I think it was the 7th round. There's a famous clip out there where he unleashed like a 17-punch combination on George. Had George covering up and everything.
Using that cross guard, yeah.
But the point was he knew how to fight on the inside. Believe it or not, Mike Tyson couldn't fight on the inside. That's why some of the bigger guys had an advantage over him, because they could wrap him up and tie him up when he got in close. He wouldn't do the things he was supposed to do. Tyson was operating his best at mid-range because he had fast feet and fast hands, and he could leap in and catch you with stuff. And most people think of him catching you with a single shot. No, Tyson had combination punches that he used to throw. There was a punch chart sequence that Cuss taught him to throw certain shots. When Tyson would throw a left hook to the body, he'll follow it with a right hand to the head. And then sometimes he would double it up. Left hook to the body, right hand to the body, then left hook to the head. In other words, the combination sequence of punches would operate because you would have to be, you can't defend everything at one time. Something was bound to get in, but he had to throw combinations for it to get in. Later, when he broke away from Cuss's teachings, he would just load up against guys. And if you can anticipate the shot coming, like Razor Ruddock was able to do, you could catch that stuff, block it and everything, and continue to fight back. But see, when he fought Holyfield, Holyfield was already a master of fighting on the inside. All he had to do was lock up Tyson's power hand, which was his left, turn his feet, walk him backwards, make him reset and start all over again. And in the meantime, give him some love on that inside with his own offense. You see what I'm saying? This is the sweet science. And if these coaches and trainers are working with these young men and can't teach them the practicalities, they are always going to be looking less than stellar, even though they talk a great game. Because when something is presented to them, they don't know what to do. They don't have the toolbox.
Yeah, we saw that last night.
Yeah. And you're going to continue to see it. You're going to continue to see it.
He was on his ass like stink on shit.
And I'm going to tell you something. That Subriel, if he fights Subriel, he doesn't make it past 6 rounds, 7 rounds with Subriel.
I said that last night too. If that was that Puerto Rican Terminator in there, he would have got him up out of there. Last night, he would have got him up out of there.
And I'm going to tell you something else. He keeps talking about Devin Haney. He can't handle Devin Haney. Devin Haney is too intelligent for him. Yeah. Ring IQ. Just because you got a stiff jab. What's the best way to beat a guy with a good jab?
Attack his body.
Nope.
What?
I'll give you another try.
The best way.
If a guy's got a great jab, strong jab, powerful jab, fast jab, good jab, what's the best way to beat the guy with the jab?
Beat him with your jab. Jab with a jab.
Bingo. You have to offset his jab. Disrupt his jab. Be before him, be at the same time, be after him.
Mm-hmm.
You take it away from him.
And Haney got one of the best jabs in the business.
There you go. And if you think for one moment that Haney is going to allow that guy to come out there and do some things to him just because he got a good jab. See, Regis was really dismissive of Haney's talent. And I understand sometimes you like to try to talk with bravado and all of that. Man, sometimes that's not your thing. Just fight. You know what I'm saying? But bravado can get you in a trick bag. Because what happened with Haney against Regis is Regis forgot he got the arm's length of a penguin. He forgot that part.
T-Rex.
And he forgot the part that in order to be effective, a guy needs to be in front of him. Yeah. Like Josh Taylor was. You see?
Mm-hmm.
And Zepeda, Jose Zepeda, the way he got Zepeda, because Zepeda languished on the inside and he was able to finally catch up to him and get him. Yeah. Devin was like, come on and go with me. Huh? He took him around the world. Huh? And lit him up from various angles with combinations. Then, when he was tired from that, Devin got close to him and started whooping him on the inside too. You understand? I keep saying this to people. Look at Regis at the post-fight press conference. You see all them knots and hickeys on his head?
Yeah, he beat the dog shit out of Regis.
Now, we know that Hitchens ain't as light as Regis. That's obvious. But them purple and dark spots gonna be on top of his head if he gets in there with Regis. I mean with Devin. It's gonna be the same thing. He might even give up on the stool. Because see, that will be when he's exposed that, oh, I kind of thought I had more than I had. Huh?
Yep. That's only his 18th fight, so you better be trying to build your shit up before you get in there with one of them killers.
Listen, man, I talk about these things because, like I said, most people are looking at the wrong things. And that's okay, because everybody can't operate from certain positions, but people can enjoy the sport like they enjoy it. But what I try to do is help people understand more clearly what you're looking at and what you may not be seeing. You know? Sky Nicholson put on a performance last night where she made Sarah Mahfoud look foolish.
Yeah, I saw that fight. Yeah, I saw that.
But her and Amanda Serrano were going at it, meaning Mahfoud and Sarah and Serrano. But Sky was like showing you what Nazim Richardson used to refer to as swim without getting wet. That's what she was doing.
She landed a clean shot on her the whole fight.
That's what she was doing. But see, when you're able to do that, you do it. Right. You see, you don't have to go out there. The old trainers used to tell you, win this one, look good the next time. But Sky looked good because she had the perfect opponent in front of her. Now, if she had Amanda in front of her, that would be a different fight. But she still would fare well because she has the ability to fight from distance and use angles and be, sharp. But now what we will need to see is how is her ticker, because that's what Serrano would do, will bring that ticker out of you. And you, with certain fighters, you don't know until they've been tested. Hitchens got tested a little bit last night, but I don't think he passed it. I don't think he passed the test. I think he was allowed to survive that situation because he was hurt several times against Lemos, and Lemos's people didn't really let their fighter know, hey man, you got this guy. You get him. It was just kind of like, yeah, keep doing what you're doing and this and that. It's like, man, there were certain instructions that they were supposed to give that I didn't hear any of it. And when I saw him holding and looking up at the Jumbotron to see the time on the clock and everything, I was like, oh man, this kid ain't there.
Yeah.
When you're in a fight, you ain't got time to be looking at no damn Jumbotron, bro. The only reason you're doing that is to check to see how much time is left in the round and how much you got to do to kill a damn time.
That's when he went to grab him.
That's why certain coaches and trainers, when they put you in the gym and they working you and they teaching you properly, they'll turn that damn timer off. They'll call time when they get ready to call time because they want you to understand what pressure means. You understand? You be looking for the bell, and there ain't no damn bell. So what do you do?
I don't know. I guess grab. That's what he did.
Nah.
He gave him a long hug.
When you want to rest, you could rest with the jab, but that's all he had last night was his jab. But some of the safest places are in the eye of the storm. Right there, right in close proximity with it. You know why? Do you know why that is? Here we go with the sweet science again. Do you know why that sometimes the safest place is right up there on the inside with your opponent? Do you know why that is?
What is that?
I'm asking you. Try to give me an answer. I'm going to tell you, but why is that? Why do you think?
We can land a good shot. Or, I don't know. It's
not that it's not that simple that you could land a good shot. But what it means is that whatever he could do to you, you can do to him.
Mm.
Now, if he's good at certain things, and maybe his experience may be that the opponents aren't as adjusted to dealing with those things, and so therefore they may be not looking to impose themselves. So you have someone who has an advantage. But if you have the proper mindset that when I'm in close to you, I can get you. I can lay hands on you. I can hurt you. Things change.
Yeah, I could dig that.
Yeah, but it takes a certain mindset. And it's not about being a tough guy, because you being close, you got to take care of yourself in close. But why is it that some fighters, I like to use Evander as an example of this, he could be in close with you, but he ain't looking to grab you and hold on. He looking for his opening. He looking for his opening. You go to reach a hand out, boom, there's a counter punch that's to your jaw or to the side of your temple. You go to throw a shot, and he's throwing an uppercut and a hook. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's looking to literally get at you. If you watch his first fight against Michael Moorer, who was a southpaw, and gave him plenty of problems in that first fight, Holyfield would talk about, I hate southpaws because they do everything backwards, he said. You know, he had an old school mentality toward thinking about southpaws. But in the second fight, he beat the crap out of Michael Moorer. Do you know why?
Because he had already fought him and he prepared better.
Well, that's a given that he had already fought him. But he took Michael's southpaw advantage away from him. Do you know how he did it?
By going to his right?
Nope. He got close to him.
Yeah.
He got close to him. And on the inside, southpaw ain't got no advantage. Southpaw got an advantage on the outside from where the shots come from. But on the inside, shots are shots. And Holyfield was a great inside fighter. A great one, not a very good. A great inside fighter.
Yeah.
He knocked Riddick Bowe down with a left hook counter shot in their third fight. Bowe didn't even see the shot. That's why he fell in slow motion, because he was in the act of throwing shots and Holyfield hit him with that left hook. And Bowe went down like, damn, what the hell? What was that? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. This is what I'm talking about, the sweet science. If I'm close to you, I can't line up southpaw or orthodox to have advantage. I just got to be ready to get the shots off. Now, if I'm adept at protecting myself, that's even better for me, because not only can I protect myself on the inside, rocking and rolling with my shoulders, adjusting and shifting my weight on my feet and everything, sometimes squaring up, sometimes switching. You know, it may appear that I'm in a southpaw position, but it's basically to be able to turn and get the leverage on the shots that I need to get off. Then I've taken your advantages away. Does any of that make sense?
Yes, indeed. It makes a lot of sense.
You see, so when I talk about these guys, these coaches and trainers, man, and I'm questioning, like, what the hell are they doing? What are they doing with these fighters? They're not giving them their best opportunities to be successful because they're not handing them the text, the keys to be able to be successful. You just telling the guy, throw your shots, let your hands go. Throw what shots? Why am I throwing these shots? What should be the result of the shots that I'm throwing?
Yeah, he had a learning experience last night.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can take something out of it.
Well, typically what guys do, and I've talked about this as well, he don't want nobody like that no more. So he gonna tell his people, hey man, don't give me no guys like that no more. That's what they usually do. And that's why the decision should have went the other way, because what happens is if, and I talked about this on my post-fight show, if the decision went against Hitchens, he would be taking his ass back to the gym and working harder to improve.
Yeah.
But because you gave him a decision that he really didn't earn, he'll be dismissive of the situation and just continue to go forward like he's gone. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
If you're a parent, you understand exactly what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Because as a parent, you send signals out to your children to do and behave as you state or whatever. And if they do not, there are consequences, regardless of what your consequences may be. But if you don't put them to the test of consequence, then they will continue to violate and break rules.
That's right. You are exactly right. That summed it up right there. You are exactly right.
Yeah. That's why I said we got to get these judges out of there. There's those Tim Cheathams and guys like that. We got to get rid of those guys because they hurt the sport. If guys get the decisions that they're supposed to get, just like last night, I think it would have been great for Lemos to get that decision. Two things could have come out of that. One, Lemos would have gotten the entire recognition that he deserved for his efforts. And remember, they were stating during the fight, he was saying he took his layoff not because he was injured, not because he had promotional or management problems. He wanted a big fight.
Big fight. Yeah.
They said that. So he comes out and he performs better than any of us could dream because we didn't even know the guy. So if you give him his decision, the second thing that happens as a result is, okay, Richardson, you had that tough fight. Hey, man, you got to show us something. Hey, run it back. You see?
Yep, see what he can do the second time around.
You see? And then that stimulates the fight. You don't just give a guy a rematch because your guy lost a close fight or he won a close fight. You have the rematch with purpose.
He can run it back on GP.
Right. But this is what I'm saying. If you don't acknowledge Lemos, then you're making us look at Hitchens, and Hitchens was piss poor. He was. Regardless if you're a guy that loves him, supports him from his hometown, all of that, that don't mean diddly poop. That fight was close enough to go the other way. And the judge who had it by a wide margin for him is a disgrace, because he's done that in the past with other fights and other fighters.
Yep, old cheater.
You had one judge that had it, 115 to 113, and the other judge had it the same way, and then he has it by a greater margin. What the hell was he looking at?
They need to just, with a lot of these judges, they need to put them on the hot seat.
They should make them have to express why they scored like that.
Yeah.
You know what? That's the thing. They're never made to be accountable. You can't go up to them and say, hey, what were you thinking? And then what would be great is to have them sit down and break down the fight in the rounds. Because sometimes, remember when Canelo, perfect example, when he fought Bivol, one of the judges gave Canelo like the first 4 or 5 rounds. It's like Bivol won some of those rounds, bro. What the hell was you looking at? You cannot come back. You cannot come back at the end of the fight and try to make things up. It was almost like he had his scorecards filled out already and then realized, oh, shoot, this Bivol dude is kind of good.
And he beat Canelo ass for 12 straight rounds. I didn't give Canelo a single round in that fight. He couldn't get in on him. He kept using his jab.
Yeah. But how do you give Canelo the first 4 or 5 rounds? How do you do that? That's not possible. It's not practical.
Yeah, that was bogus.
But see, again, I can say certain things and I can put it out there. I don't dwell, because if I dwell on it, it takes my love of the sport away and I'll stop watching. But I try to stick to the things that can really mean something. Like when I talk about these coaches and trainers and how shallow they are, you could see that there are some talented guys, and you could see that there are guys that don't need to be where they are in the sport. Like Rolly is an example of that. Rolly has some ability, but he hasn't been taught well at all. And the mere fact that they would allow a guy to be in the gym doing that and then put him out there and put him on the world-class stage for him to only get embarrassed like he did. Because that's what happened. He got embarrassed. Not once, but twice. The Tank fight.
I felt bad for Rolly when they did that little interview, and the look on his face, I was like, oh, man, dude don't cry.
Not only that, but let's not forget, what's his name? Mr. Barroso had it too. If what's his name, that referee didn't jump in there and stop it and save Rolly a victory.
Yeah, the Aztec elder.
Yeah. So it's like when you're looking at this stuff, it tells you right in front of your face, well, Rolly don't deserve to be there. He really don't. But there are other guys who do, right? And they don't. That's the other thing that they're doing to the sport that really makes it bad. Guys who deserve a title shot. Frank Martin. What's his name? Michelle Rivera. Those guys. Those are good fighters. No, they might not be the best in the world, but they deserve the shot. Why is guys like Rolly getting shots at titles when they haven't earned that?
Right. I think Rolly would make a good MMA fighter, though.
I heard he's a black belt and stuff. He should go over there and do that. It's like, it wouldn't be no shame.
I think he got a black belt in judo or jiu-jitsu one.
Yeah.
I think he'll make a good MMA fighter.
But there's so much, man. There's so much to learn from, this sport here. And there are guys out here that should have an opportunity to do more and do better. And these judges and referees with their corrupt ways, man, it's disheartening, man. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah. It's messed up.
Yeah, but what else you got for me, Mr. Shelton?
That's about it.
Yeah. I've been checking out your little clips, man. They funny as hell. They funny, man. Keep doing your thing, bro. Yeah. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your call, man. Don't be a stranger. Make sure you call again.
Yes, indeed.
All right, you take care.
All right, peace.
Peace. All right, that's Mr. Shelton out there. Boxing and Barbecue, if you're still in the building, go ahead and make your call now, man, before we shut things down. Boxing and Barbecue. Yeah, that was a good call though. See, I told you when you guys call in and we can have a conversation on the sport, it gives me an opportunity to be able to engage with you guys and let you know what's happening. You know what I mean? But this knowledge, it's available, but a lot of people don't know what's happening. Ratchet Since 91 says, I never know how much I don't know until I listen to Stormy cook. Hey, I appreciate that, man. But I haven't lied to any of you guys, not one time. Not one time. I've dropped gems. Gems from the gym. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's all about. Okay, Boxing and Barbecue, I got you, bro. Sorry about that, but yeah, we'll catch up next week on that. I'm gonna get ready to shut things down anyway because I gotta go and eat. Stormy ain't ate at breakfast or nothing, so I gotta take care of that business. You know, so it's brunch time now, so it's time. You know what I mean? But yeah. And my man Healer was out there in the chat. I saw him out there earlier. We're going to hear from our brother Healer.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
you some of that merchandise, man. For some of these fighters out there with that poor defense, you better get you a focus ball. Somebody need to gift you one of them things. Yeah. But all in all, it's been a great Sunday morning call in, man. I thank you all for joining me doing this thing here, man. It's been great. We were able to recap some things. We got a very good call out of Mr. Shelton. Appreciate you, brother, for your support. And just know that we'll be back next Sunday with some more on the Answering the Bell. But hey, we got some fights coming up on Wednesday. Pro Box TV, man. You can catch them right on YouTube. Check them out. They've been showing some great fights. A couple weeks ago, we had Nicholas Walters returning after being gone. I don't know if he had went to another dimension or what, but he showed up and he showed out. So this week we got some more fights coming, and we'll be able to look into that and talk about that as well. So just know that I'm going to be here doing my best for you guys. Look for my premieres this week, and we will keep the ball rolling. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we'll catch you guys next Sunday. Peace to everybody. Have a great week.
What do you think of Negroes?
As good as any white man.